Hey, welcome to the Rest of the Compass. I'm your host, Will Finch, and, well, boy, am I glad to have you guys today. I'm glad to be back. It's been a long time, so at least it feels like to me, because, I spent the last week moving, getting all situated, and getting all that, set up down here down in Florida. So, yeah, man, it's been crazy. So, my apologies for not doing one last week, because I was moving. This week, I've been kind of hectic. I want to get the show to where I'm only doing broadcasting on Mondays. So we're gonna get to that point. Not this week, maybe next week we'll start. So we might have a short one after this one. But yeah, anyway, we got a lot to talk about. So let's get down into it. And yeah. So my first topic for today would be moving here and getting settled in. Why not? And then we'll get to the heavier stuff here in a minute. So, man, getting moved here, I was pinching pennies, biting, I don't know, man. I was just trying to put all of my money together to get down here because I felt like this is where I needed to be at for the moment. So, get down here, get involved with some photography stuff and some film stuff, along with some motorcycle and stunt riding, series type things. So hopefully I get down here and make some headway and all that, get some pretty cool shots and things. I got a new lens, kind of on it. It's Sigma 18-55 mil. So far it's doing pretty cool. It's a good lens, don't get me wrong. I'm just adjusting to how I do things with it. But, I just pieced things together and it just happened to work out to where I could get that lens and then get down here, shoot some video and, just a bunch of different things. But, yeah, things just seem like they're moving now. Not that Arkansas is a bad place, but I just felt stagnant there. So I don't feel like I was being utilized to my full potential. So, yeah. Getting down here, moved my RV down here from Arkansas, and we're currently sitting in the backyard of my friend's house, who's so gracious to allow me to park it here. So we got some things coming out. I got a bunch of new ventures coming up, so that should be exciting and fun to see. But what has this done and taken a toll on me, Like, it's pretty rough. Mentally wise, anyway. Kind of sticking with it, staying strong, and, adapting and adjusting, is something I think we all need to start, figuring that out. And if not, we're doing it. At least figure out how to do it efficiently. Which, if you don't know me, I love to do things efficiently and effectively. So, it's got to make sense and it's got to matter to whatever I'm doing, I guess. But, yeah, man, getting down here, meeting a bunch of new people. It's been great. Man, I've met a lot of new people and got a lot of new perspectives on things and just kind of how to do things and maybe get going on with all this stuff. But I think I'm on the right path anyway. But the main thing I want to talk about today is suicide in men. Now, that's not to say that suicide in women don't matter, because all suicides absolutely do matter, but I think we have an epidemic with men. I mean, one suicide's an epidemic, let's be honest, but man, we got a lot of men out there just holding shit in and really no one to talk to, because, culturally it's men going to therapy is weak or all this other stuff, but in reality it's not. I think it's just our own psychological thing. I've been to counseling and it worked out, I think. Still kind of crazy, but it is okay. But no, it's just about dealing with some things, but the thing is, man, like, guys, we poke jokes and all these other cool things, that we do with guys, like, hey, what's up, dude? Blah, blah, blah. But do we really know our friends, Like, do we know, are we actually listening to some of the warning signs they may be giving off? Or, there's a bunch of stuff. It's never just overnight just gone. No, man, it's a lot of leading up things like stress, bad relationships, uh, you know, as guys, we don't like to think about these things as like, oh, I'm just a guy. We'll get through it, power through it. Nah, man, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard, really. Um, 'Cause your feelings do matter. Not to be all sensitive on anyone, but your feelings do matter and they are valid. But the biggest question with all that is, are you managing it right? Are you talking to anyone? And are the people you're talking to, um, essentially, in a positive light to be able to talk to? Some people you talk to that you think, but they're just crappy listeners, or they just bash your balls for nothing, like just because that's the guy thing to do. Maybe it's just awkward for them. Who knows? There's a number of things, but um, I know I've dealt with a lot of people that have been suicidal in the past. Kind of walked them and talked them through it. Uh, my personal self, I was suicidal at one point where I was in a really horrible relationship, and literally all the puzzle pieces were coming together, and that's where I found myself. But you know, we're definitely not that way anymore, and we're definitely moving forward. But that to me was kind of almost a turning point. Well, it was a turning point. Luckily, in a positive light for me. But a lot of people, there's not that turning point, and they go through with it, and then everyone's blaming them, like, oh well, look what you left behind, and look what you did this. Well, first of all, they don't care, obviously. Secondly, how selfish of you to even turn that about you. Like, oh yeah, you shouldn't have done that because you got people they here that love you, blah blah blah. But you're using that as a blame game, though. Essentially, like, I don't know, that kind of stuff doesn't make sense to me. It's like, you don't care how they were hurting, how they were doing. It's like people tend to turn them back on them. So that's just something to think about. Like, say if someone's venting to you, maybe um, actually stop and listen, and think about how you're reacting to it, because you may be actually taking all that away from them, and they just need someone to talk to. And well, you just said fuck them, you're being selfish type thing, but they're not being selfish because they're trying to talk to you and communicate. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of things out there, and you know, a lot of guys don't know how to get out of those situations. I don't think. And I know that's kind of wild to maybe sound said, or wild like it sounds, but man, we're all just trying to make it. To be honest, none of us know what the hell we're actually doing. Of course, unless you're trying to build something you already built before, like, but like, you're just going through life and you're just trying to be happy. I think majority of us are just trying to find our happy spot, really. And of course, a lot of that's all internally, but at the same time, your outside environment does have an influence on that, whether you want to say it does or not. Because I've never had a bad day on a Harley, let me tell you that much. But even when I wrecked them, still a good day. As crazy as that sounds, but no, the main point here is, man, it's okay to be a little bit vulnerable, and you just got to be cautious about who you're vulnerable with, because that could go all kinds of different ways. But um, just being able to have your basically your 3 to 5, to go to and talk to, that you're comfortable in talking to, and ones that are able to give you positive feedback, or maybe not positive, but in a positive manner, that would not basically just encourage you to go do something stupid, or encourage you to do, I don't know, something dumb as far as your response to everything, right? So you need to have those people that are emotionally mature in that area. So maybe that's one person you add to your 3 to 5. And if you don't know what a 3 to 5 is, it's the 3 to 5 people that you're around the most. They say that, well, those are your go-to, and those are basically who your life kind of evolves to become, like, so having 3 to 5 is kind of an important thing to do in that sense of, you evolve and you become new things and as we go through life, but those 3 to 5 are like your foundational cement, like, you have a real solid foundation there. And sadly, a lot of guys don't actually have that. When you think about it, and I challenge you guys to do this, actually think about who you can legit go to with just about any situation. And I mean any situation, to the point where, like, you're not worried about how they're going to respond. You're not worried about who they might go tell or all that stuff. Like, something that's very deeply internally, kept. So just think about those types of bonds. And if you can't, like, it was hard for me. Somebody asked me who mine were, and I legit had a hard time even finding a name. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are like that. So, and all this goes for women too. Just my topic is kind of focused on the men part because, well, men, we struggle really badly with this, and it does make you weak, and we certainly don't go talk about it, just because it's like just culturally not accepted, really. Uh, or maybe that could just be my shitty perspective. I don't know, but I just feel like it's that way. But statistics are statistics. But you know, it's crazy because we talked to Chris on the last podcast, and he's trying to push real hard for 22 and suicidal vets and all that good stuff. And pardon me, it's been a long day already, but he's pushing to raise awareness for that, and I absolutely hoping the best and will do anything to help with that. And then as I was driving down here, I got a text from an old friend talk about how he had a friend that ended up committing suicide that he introduced me to one time, and I said, "Oh man, I'm sorry to hear about that." And he's like, "Yeah, man, I never seen that coming, But it's like, did I miss the signs or something? I was like, well, it's possible you missed the signs, but also just remember that, as guys, we're really good at masking things, to a certain extent. So you may not probably feel guilty about it, but I don't think you should, because, dude, we're human too, to be honest. And, dude, we miss things. That's why it's important, I think, to have that 3 to 5, because you're really invested in those people, is what I'm saying. And maybe and I'm not saying my friend wasn't invested in his friend, by no means, but, I'm just really good at picking up, like, subtleties in people, like, ridiculously good. Like, I just know that how their day's going already without even them even within milliseconds, probably. It's kind of an amazing feat, really. Kind of mind boggles me. But at the end of the day, it's about, communicating. Being able to communicate with your friends. Having those hard conversations. Because some of these conversations just aren't comfortable. Like, hey, bro, I'm thinking about hurting myself. That's, people will joke about it, but at the end of the day, were they joking? Or are they being serious? You just never know. And it's just crazy. Like, to me, I take all that kind of stuff serious, whether it's a joke or not. It's like, man, you gotta quit joking about that, because I actively, am there for people. So I don't find that kind of stuff something to joke about, or hee haw, or whatever, or even bash on somebody else. That's a whole nother story. It's about, suicide in men is horrible. Well, any suicide, let's be honest. But there's a whole lot of men just don't know how to deal with some of these situations, man. And if any of this resonates with you guys, man, email me. I'd love to have a conversation with you and just chit chat with you and just be real with you. Just know I won't ever give you the answer you want. I'm gonna give you the answer you probably need, because that's why you ask. But yeah, it's just crazy. But that also brings me into my next thing of communication. It's so important because you don't just necessarily communicate verbally, right? Your body language, like you're tense or you're just. Sometimes this is just comfortable for people, but there's signs to these things. Their tone of voice, their fluctuation, like all kinds of stuff, man. Their eyes dilated or something. A lot of guys don't think about this, or even people will just. This kind of more topic for everyone, really, but man, you gotta learn these things that we aren't really taught to learn. We're taught skills to go work for somebody. Nobody ever, at least in my life, I've never been taught outside of like counseling and stuff, which I had to go seek all these things. So I had to learn it all on my own. And boy, have I been through some scenarios that are good. We'll say. I want to keep it all in a positive light because they weren't good situations, but they were good in the aspect that they taught me a bunch of things. And I was able to receive that kind of thing. So, don't be afraid to communicate or even have that hard conversation. Like, hey, are you actually okay? Like, no, I actually do care. Be there for people. It's really just too easy to be kind. Um, in how you respond to people and all this other stuff. It's just like, dude, just respond with kindness. You don't have to be like a dick about things. Some people need that assertiveness. Most probably not. I'm just saying gauge the situation however you guys see fit. But that's kind of the heavy topic for today. Sorry, my mind went blank. The suicide and emotions of men. I'd really like to get somebody on here and actually talk about some of this stuff, like see how they deal with it and maybe show some perspective or gain some perspective. I love gaining perspective because I'm not always right. Um, but yeah, man, that's kind of weighing heavy on me lately, and is suicide. So with my buddy Chris doing that, and I'm gonna try helping him get his channel and stuff going. So he's doing good. He's still back in Arkansas. Some of my other friends dealing with some things. It's just like, man, I always do find myself to be that person that is unfiltered, that will say what needs to be said. So it's not to offend anybody, but I mean, I really don't care about that either, because that's not my intention, is to offend nobody. But if you get offended, I mean, you need to ask yourself why you're offended, instead of you're offending me and attack that person. Just ask why you're. It's really that simple. It's an eternal thing. Why am I even offended by this, or why does this make me feel a certain way? It's getting in touch with your emotions that a lot of us tend to shut off. Um, they don't make you weak. They don't make you strong. Emotions are that, or just that. They're just emotions. You acknowledge them and move on. Um, yeah, a lot of times I had to do a lot of training on that too. So for my personal growth. However, that brings us to our next topic: growth. So, as you guys know, I've been in the process of moving here, getting my businesses started, and all this good stuff. I'm probably going about it backwards, but I'm going about it my way. So, nonetheless, but man, what was the last time I seen you guys? It's been about a week or so, or maybe a little bit longer. No, I missed last week, so it's been almost 2 weeks. So, oof, I apologize. So, I was just getting back from the Brave program, which is a TBI clinic up in Wisconsin. Absolute fabulous organization up there. Teach you about some traumatic brain injuries, and they also get to they tell you and get you to understand how your brain's working and why it's working a certain way, um, which I found out that I don't have ADHD. I'm just a highly intelligent person, uh, probably autistic, genius type, borderline stuff, but or maybe not borderline. I don't know. I figured that out one day, but some of the traits I was, like the task management and all these other things, that they derived from being highly intelligent, like highly intelligent versus I was just struggling with something. So, man, it's a great program. I still want to get back up there and look more into some of the other programs they offer, but um, and it kind of gave me some much needed insight on how my brain's operating, right? And you're probably like, well, what's this all got to do with everything? Well, goes back to that efficiency and effective type thing, right? So I like to be efficient. So when something's not working out for me or I'm struggling with something, I try to figure out why I'm struggling with that. Um, so the point there is I can identify it, I address it, and then I can work through it or adjust whatever needs to be done, and I can effectively manage my days, day to day stuff, which a lot of us struggle with, and some of us don't, I guess. But um, and kudos for you if you don't. Come help some of us. So, no, I'm just playing. We'll get there. But no, you know, that program is good because it allowed me to understand myself more, um, to be able to figure out and fix some of my own issues that I didn't know I was having or why I was having. Like I struggle when I get thrown off my own schedule. You know, um, it's just infuriating. And I'm sure most of us feel some of that, but it really discombobulates me. Like my whole day's thrown off type stuff. But you just can't allow that to happen. You got to understand that hey, things are gonna throw you off your plans and everything. So the crazy thing about that is it's okay that your plans get kind of thrown off sometimes because they're going to. Things happen, things don't go as planned. Um, but you plan and you execute, and if things don't go as they're planned, you adjust. Um, and that's a whole skill in itself is being able to adjust. But yeah, it's just wild. I'm dealing with trying to do music for not just for myself, but mix and master stuff for other people, get their things going. Then I'm doing photography, some videography work, and some promos for some businesses and all that kind of cool stuff, right? So, which seems like a lot because it is. And man, when you got to understand though. Well, at least for me, there's been people that's put in my path to intentionally throw me off, which is wild because I I always look at myself to add value to a situation and not. And of course, this is also adding, but in a very negative connotation way. But you're adding value for a lesson learned, right? And don't get me wrong, lessons learned are very valuable. However, some of this stuff is already not needed because I already planned that kind of thing. It's like I don't know, but I kind of got left field there. But um, yeah, just planning and according to whatever you got going on. There's a lot of things going on, but you got to make that space and that balance for things, and just keep. It's not always about the grind. In fact, resting is part of the grind, which I personally have had to learn and understand that. But yeah, man, today's just kind of an update, but I want to touch base on that suicide thing because it's kind of near and dear, and I kind of want to keep that momentum going to find help for people. Because really it is just about being kind. A lot of times, there are some medical stuff wrong with people, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. But I'm just another guy, just out here doing my thing. But I do got a lot of knowledge and perspective on things, and most definitely willing to share it. So, but yeah, that's just that. But yeah, I did the Brave program. I did that, and moving down here, getting settled in. Met a bunch of nice people that are willing to help, and we're all on board as make a team stuff. So it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, we'll just see where everything goes. I think this weekend we got some drifter drags here, and well, I say it's Volusia Top Gun that we're doing. That could be wrong, but I'm almost positive. So if you're in the Daytona area, come on out to that. Should be fun. I'll be out there videotaping, doing some photography stuff. Um, I don't think I'm DJing. I don't think. Maybe. I gotta see. But yeah, who knows? We'll get all this going, and yeah, we got a lot of things coming up. I got some cool projects that are gonna come up. I've been working diligently on getting my store brand set up. Um, Along with, I'm gonna be kicking out a DJ stream. It's gonna be posted on Thursdays, so that's why I'm moving to from Wednesdays to Mondays for this the rest of the Rusted Compass. Come on, Will, can't even say your own show. But no, we're gonna make that so there's some time differences, that way I can plan and do appropriate. So yeah, I might have two. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a DJ one. Just go live, DJ for a while, and uh, let people enjoy the music. And you need company, or you just feel like you just want to tune in or something. They got nothing else going on. Come on in. We're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be DJing. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be great. So I'm pretty happy with where things are going. Maybe not where I'm at right this moment, but it's all part of that process. So, um, oh, I'm also gonna be doing some online classes. Uh, well, giving them with how to do photography work, how to do microphone and music production stuff. Just anything I could come up with that I know is valuable lessons for people. I'm going to teach you about it because I think that's a valuable thing to share and leave behind. Because maybe you just don't know where to look, or maybe you just need a different perspective on how you learn it. So yeah, we'll see how all that goes. So I got a bunch of this stuff coming out. Probably in the next 6 months is what I'm shooting for. So we get to finalize some planning and everything, and we're gonna get this going. But I think we're on the right path. So yeah, if you guys have any business stuff you need help with, or I should be going back to Arkansas very soon to go get my motorcycles. Yes. And then we'll take this on the road, and we're gonna go get lost in the woods somewhere, and just go have some cool stuff out in the woods. That way I'm not always in the studio or at the shop or wherever. I want to take this on the road and be traveling, because I could do this from anywhere. So why not go see places? Don't be afraid of it. Sometimes, I watched a buddy's show the other day. He said, man, sometimes you just gotta say fuck it and go for it. We all have dreams. Not all of us attempt to go get them, though. I am. And I would expect other people to. But the thing with that is, man, sometimes you're just not in the right spot. I watched what was it? 50 Cent had a commercial one time, or a thing, or he was on a podcast, I think it was. He's like, man, this really gave me life perspective. Pay $1 for water here, $3 over there, $7 in the airport, but it's the same water. Well, maybe you're just in the wrong spot. You ever think that? And you're undervaluing yourself. So it's okay to move. It's not necessarily the easiest thing, or because most people have jobs and all this other stuff to factor in. But you know what? Just go for it, man. And if you need anyone to support you, as long as you're not hurting people or kids, I'm gonna support the dream to go forward. So, yeah, it should be good times. Like I'll help you out, um, to an extent, maybe if it's within my means. But yeah, let's see where this ball keeps a rolling, because it's a rolling now. So yeah, who knows, man? Be excited to go get my motorcycles and have my own here. So um, yeah, let's see where this all takes us. And I want to thank you guys for thank you guys for joining me today. I know it was kind of scatterbrained, but it's kind of also a representation of where things are in my life at the moment. So things are kind of going a million miles a minute, and or maybe a second, maybe, or maybe a minute, who knows? But they're going everywhere, getting everything put together. But I didn't want to leave you guys without some words of wisdom for the week. It's because I skipped last week. So what I want to say is, I love you, be kind, and do your thing. But just remember, man, you never know who or what people are struggling with. So use that kindness, and don't just assume and judge a book by its cover. You just never know. You just never know. And maybe just saying hi will, or even a smile sometimes, might have just changed that person's outlook on that day. So just keep that kind of stuff in mind. And yeah, can't wait for the next one. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.